Hey everybody, it is Saturday afternoon and we are being pirates. We're trying to be pirates. It's kind of like we're trying to be pirates, but they're not being very good pirates about being pirates. They haven't really tried to do a piratey thing. I've been kind of sending them on missions, but we'll see what happens. We are joined today, like we always are, by the audacious, out of print GM, the very rarely internet cryptid Nat, and the ever-essent M. And let's get in and say hi to him.
Hello.
Hey, guys. We're hoping that Neil will be able to join us a little bit later. He's been called out, so he may join us, he may not join us. And like I said, we have the grandfather of puns.
Right.
What's sad is he's only a few months older than I am. So I think you are, right? Out of print? I think you're what, just a couple months older than me, right?
In March, I will be 53 years old.
Yeah. So that's, yeah, he's 6 months older than me. So that tells you a lot. Good, clean living or English living. Good, clean living or English living. I mean, look at this. Do I look like anything over the age of like 35? Simon.
How much do you spend a month on Grecian 2000 again?
Well, just a couple thousand. Don't worry about it. So, hi, guys. How are you all?
Doing good.
We're all right, I think.
We're all right. I think
Ready to take some names and take some maths.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. All right. So when we last left you guys had actually, we'll go over to the combat map real quick so we can see what's going on over here. You guys had been, you were delivering dogs to this rancher, and then you ran out of energy and fuel basically for your ship to get off of the planet side. And you went to the slaughterhouse, which is literally a place where the ranchers and cattle herders and all them that are in and around Cold Iron kind of hang out in the evenings and things like that. But it is literally a slaughterhouse during the day. There's a whole nother side of this building that's just where cows and sheep and pig and chickens, they all get in, all their lives end, unfortunately. Got to feed the masses. And you were playing a game with someone by the name of Saul Potter, and he was like looking at you, and he kind of made hey, I have a job that I could use some help with, and would you be interested? And you're all like, yeah, sure. The only person that's not here at the time, I believe. Gad, are you here yet? I don't think you are.
Gad was not.
Right, and I think we ended the episode with actually you guys all going back to the ship, right? I mean, I think that's where we ended, right? If I remember correctly now, thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you guys all went back to the ship for that evening to stay, and you told Gad about this potential job. So we will pick up the next morning. What are you guys doing? What's going on? No one speak it.
Did we tell them we're taking the job yet?
No, you hadn't. You went back to talk to Gad about the potentiality of the job and see what he thought. Because you basically nominated him to be captain, so you guys don't take on that responsibility of, life and death and all that fun stuff.
Did they tell us where to find them? When we had an answer.
Yeah, just meeting back at the slaughterhouse.
Cool. In that case, with no concept of maybe they're not there because it's first thing in the morning, Ravandra is going to head over to the slaughterhouse.
Okay. Gad, what are you doing?
Begrudgingly, Gad is coming with. Somebody has to babysit.
And Simon, what's you all doing?
Exercises first, then I'll join the party and go with them.
Neil's character is gonna hang back in the.
Yeah, he's probably got dodgy guts to get his in the thunderbolt.
He's back in the box, right? All right. So you spend how long are you gonna?
Tinny has IBS.
His IBS, sure. Why not? He has IBS.
I reckon that's actually his cabin.
That's his
Oh,
cabin.
jeez.
All right, so
his quarters on the ship.
how long are you gonna spend doing your exercise?
Well, when
Good time.
until they're ready to go.
So you get up before Ravandra does, then apparently, take it.
Yeah, well,
All right. So, it gets towards dawn. When do you plan to go, Ravandra? Do you just, oh look, it's dawn, I'm gonna go, kind of thing?
No, she'll get up around dawn and then have something to eat and kind of make sure she's properly awake. Because you can't start a day right if you don't feel right. So
That brings up a really interesting question that I don't think either one of us have actually thought about it. We know that humanoids that are not made of wood tend to eat vegetables and meats and things like that.
but then what do
would-
trees eat?
What do
Ravandra eats pussy. Nothing else.
sunlight.
Do you think
Yeah,
those are
Ravandra's-
synthesized?
well?
Ravandra's meals are she sits outside and just soaks in some of the sunlight for a bit.
Dig your toes into the soil.
Yeah. Get nice and comfy and photosynthesize for a little bit.
Because we never thought about that. I never thought about that. How do you, how from a day to day, do you just subside? And how do you subside?
I mean, we've said that she can digest food and drink
Food and
because
drink.
she's able to have a drink at a bar.
But is it? But that. I mean, is that? Yeah, you can have a drink. But would that be something that would be like something you would do on a daily basis? Would you eat? And then when you eat, do you eat raw meat? Do you eat cooked meats? Do you eat?
Imagine-
How I don't even know. How would we do this? How would you imagine it?
When I've been imagining the Kujasu, they've had leaves that have been usually green. So I figure that they probably do photosynthesize, and then maybe because I've only ever had Ravandra in game drinking alcohol, basically. So it might just be that she only drinks that for the inebriation effects of it. She doesn't actually need to drink or eat anything to stay sustained, except maybe water. And then she probably does just sit outside in the sunlight for a bit to have something to eat. She gets really hungry if it's cloudy.
It gets moody if when it's cloudy.
Yeah. If it's overcast, she's just really hangry.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to figure out. We're gonna have to make up like a canon thing for that, just to kind of give people an idea of what they do when a tree folk is around, right?
Mm.
I've never really thought about it, but we'll have to think about that. All right, so yeah, you go out there, and you know what I actually was thinking is that scene in both the written word of the Lord of the Rings and the movie Lord of the Rings, when basically the Forest begins to wake up and Treebeard's there, and Pip and Merry kind of start to get eaten, and he says, go back to sleep, drink water, dig deep, kind of things. That just what I kind of figure you do, kind of go out there and you kind of just literally become a tree for a couple, for an hour or so, right? You just
Yeah.
So when you're in a forest, you just go, I'm gonna hide.
Don't mind me.
Don't mind me. Okay.
Except it's not really hiding because it's like a big willow tree, and I imagine there's not many of them around.
Right, there's in a forest of pines, you're the only willow tree. Like, wait a minute.
And there's also massive footprints leading to where you were there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and it's also the only tree that somehow has blossom on it.
Right. All right, so you guys spend an hour or so working out, eating, and getting ready to go. It's a little bit after dawn, and maybe a couple hours, an hour after that, you guys decide to go to the slaughterhouse. Now, before you decide to go to the slaughterhouse, as a convenient reminder, well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, because you're right. Ravandra's like, okay, we're gonna go. They said they were gonna be at the slaughterhouse, well, let's go. Right? The time is not a concept I think that you really worry about,
No.
because you live forever. Well,
I'm a
much.
free spirit. If I
So,
want to go somewhere, I'll go there.
I'm gonna go. Right? All right. So you guys head off to the slaughterhouse. When you get there, as you guys kind of make your way there, again, you can taste the tang of iron and blood in the air, and you kind of make your way, and you can kind of see these herders kind of herding up some sheep, and behind them 4 or 5 heads of cow, and they're kind of moving them up in there. And they've got them all corralled right outside the other side of the building. And every now and again, well, you see it as you come up, you see someone kind of go out there and grab one of the sheep and haul it in. And then you hear some swack, swack. And that's basically it. That's all you see in here. You kind of go to the door, and it's open. You can walk in, you know. There's a couple of drunks that are kind of like passed out in the bench areas of these things. You know, some ranch hands that have probably missed their wake-up call and need to get going. But there doesn't seem to be anybody else in the slaughterhouse at this time.
Oh, they did say they'd be here.
Call for them then. Just
Uh,
call for them.
Ravandra will head up to the bar. And is there someone there right now, or is it empty?
It's empty. The last time you were here, when there wasn't a bartender, it was actually one of the butchers was the actual bartender. So they don't know you're there, right? What do you want to do? There is a back entrance. So when you're coming in, you know, if you remember the map, it's a long, it's a rectangular like building. You have the seats and everything, and the bars at the back end. There's an office over to the right hand when you walk in. The back side of that, there's a door, and that's where the butcher came in and out when you first got there that early, to get a drink or so. You can walk over to that door and open it if you like and see what's going on.
Was it the office that we were taken to when he discussed the deal with us?
Yes.
She's probably gonna head over there then. See if she can like find him in there.
So you make your way over to the office and things like that, and you open the door, and it's empty. It's relatively empty. I mean, there's desks. There's a desk there, a couple bookshelves. It's definitely an office. There's papers on the desk. There's a
This seems
little bit of
like an
like
opportunity.
blood stains here and there. Nothing really unusual about the blood stains other than the fact that they exist.
Well, Ravandra has seen an opportunity. She is going to start raiding through the office.
Okay, what are you looking
I-
for? Are you just looking for random stuff? Are you looking for anything specific? Are you trying to
Anything-
find the safe? I mean, what are you doing? Describe to me what you want to do.
She basically wants to look for anything about the people we're about to do a job for.
So the paperwork that you find that's on the desk, do you read or speak common in any facet?
I think so, yeah. Let me check. I've got it written down.
Yeah, you do. So yeah, you do have common there.
Yeah.
You kind of flip through the pages, and they are just order sheets of and invoices for X number of cattle on this date, the cost of the butchering, where they're going to be sending some of these pieces out, and those where they're going on. They're contractual things that are just kind of laid out on the table. There's nothing like specifically saying, okay, well, Saul Potter is this kind of a guy. Did Simon fall asleep?
Quite possibly.
Simon, did you fall asleep? No falling asleep. Get some self coffee.
I don't do coffee.
That might be a
Are
good
you
thing.
good, Simon? Are you okay?
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm alright. I will be.
Okay.
Is there anything that mentions where we're going?
No.
Nothing like that. And nothing that mentions
there's-
Saul Potter by name.
There's nothing that mentions Saul Potter by name. I mean, they're for the most part, like I said, the things that are on the desk are just simple invoices and receipts and requests for this and those kind of things. There's nothing that there's like I said, receipts for like alcohol being delivered and things like that. It's not a well-kept, well-structured office. I mean, the paperwork's are just laid out there and things like that. So it's not like they're hiding anything. because it's all on the table, literally.
That's fair. Fair enough then.
All right.
She just thought she'd see if there was anything to gain.
Gad, what do you want to do?
Gad was going to stop Ravandra, but given that Ravandra hasn't found anything inherently incriminating, I think probably going to have a look around and see if there is anything sort of hidden passage adjacent. If there is any like hidden storage somewhere, anything that a criminal might use to make everything look above board.
Inside the office?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and make a search check.
Okay.
Simon, where are you? Are you in the office or are you out in the bar, the main bar room?
Be out in the bar area, sort of keeping my eyes and ears open.
Ravandra and Gad have been gone for about 15 or 20 minutes. When suddenly you hear commotion as a door is opened up to the backside, and you can hear them calling
3
out.
successes.
Nice. Yeah, I'll get you some. And they kind of close the door behind them. They come around, and the guy's like, "Whoa!" Looks at you, Butak, and wow. Are you here?
I will speak very loudly so the people in the office will hear me. Hello, how are you today?
Good. My name's Frank. What can I help you with
Hello,
something?
Frank. I am Butak. It is very pleased to meet you.
Oh, very nice to meet you. And he kind of comes up. He's got his thing. You can see there's blood on his hands. He kind of wipes it off on his pal and puts his hand out to shake your hand.
Shake his hand.
He goes, "Can I get you something?"
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry? You broke up.
I am very good. Thank you very much.
So you don't want me? You don't want the drink or anything? And he kind of.
They wait for friends. They meet here.
Okay, well, make yourself comfortable, I guess. And he kind of makes his way around to the, opens up one of the, the gate to the bar and goes on there, and he pulls out a couple of large tankers and fills them up. He goes, "Are you sure you don't want a tankard?"
Yeah, go on. Whilst I'm waiting, I might as well have a little snifter.
So piss in a boot, right? Pulls it down, brings it over to you, sets it on the table. Goes, "All right, well then, that'll be 3 silver. You can leave it on the thing. I got to get back to work." And he kind of he grabs it.
I'll start taking a sip, and as I've taken a sip, I'll look at him. I have a question for you.
Oh yeah.
How do you get cat to squat over bottle?
Oh, we don't really this is not really piss in a bottle with like cow piss or anything like that. We just, because it's yellow, it looks like piss. And it's just a nickname that just piss in a boot.
It does not taste like piss either.
No, I hope it would. I hope it doesn't. The stuff comes from the Doroshiba, so fairly expensive for it to make it all the way down here. I think it's done by some really good brewers there.
To take the piss.
Well, yes, it does eventually come out like that, yes, but we just call it piss in a boot. We just started I don't even know how it happened, actually.
Yeah, very well.
He opens up the bartender thing and kind of, the I can't remember what they're called, like the anyways, gets past that, takes his 2 tankards back into the butchering area and kind of kicks the door shut with his things, with his foot, and kind of walks back, disappears back behind there. Gad, you don't find anything that would be suspect, that would be anything that would be like someone trying to hide something in plain sight. Again, this is just a very messy office. I mean, the paperwork has bloodied fingerprints on it, mostly because, they kind of walk in, they kind of flip it open, and stuff like that. There are a couple of books there that have got profits and loss and those kind of things. But there's nothing in there that has any indication of any type of criminal organization hiding something, especially in plain sight, or even off not in plain sight. It just looks like a slaughterhouse that's run by some cattlemen, for all intents and purposes, right? I mean, number of head of cattle and sheep coming in, how many are going out, where they're being shipped to, those kind of things.
Everything's above board.
It appears to be. I mean,
So-
if you want to sit down and take some time and try to do some mathematical equations, to read some books and see if they've been,
We don't
Hooked.
have time to see if they've
you
been
could
laundering
definitely
money.
try that, right? I mean, you don't know. I'll bet
I would love to, but we haven't got time for it at the moment, I think.
for everything that's there, it seems to be above board. But
Fair
that, and in your not so lack of experience, just because it looks clean doesn't mean it is clean. Everybody at some point in these areas and these kind of things are always cooking their books just a little bit. It might be the fact that they said, yeah, we sent 500 pounds of beef to here, but but when you finally figure it all out, they're charging like, say 10,000 silver pieces for that. But they only sent 250 of beef. The rest of it was something else, those kind of things. Someone's always doing something that they shouldn't be doing for the most part. But if they're cooking the books, you wouldn't know. You'd have to actually sit down and take some time to investigate it.
Live action accounting.
Right. And I don't want to do that.
I mean, Gad would love to get into that, but
Other than that, it's the slaughterhouse is pretty much wide open. It's just a meeting hall that generally starts to fill up if, at some point in the day.
I think when Ravandra's stopped hearing Butak having a conversation with people, she'll kind of poke her head out to make sure there's no one there, and then she'll slip out of the office. Yeah, she'll turn to Butak and be like, "That wasn't our friend Saul, was it?"
He's not my friend. I have no friends called Saul.
But then who would you call?
Ghostbusters? I don't know.
Ghostbusters.
I'd call you. You are my friend.
That's very sweet of you, Butak. But that wasn't Saul.
I don't think so.
I was about to Butak did meet Saul. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what
Yeah.
Saul looks like. Yeah, he knows exactly
He
what
was
Saul
he
looks
was in
like.
the room.
Yeah, he was in
Gad
there.
who hasn't met Saul.
Yeah, it's the only one that hasn't met Saul. That's right.
Fair enough. Ravandra will look around and then probably, honestly, she's nosy enough. She'll try and head through the other door to see if she can find anyone.
So you go through the door that leads out to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah, why not?
As you head out into that area, you open the door, and your senses are assaulted with smells of everything that goes on in a butchering area and a butchering house, and I'm not going to get into those, but to suffice to say, it's a mixture of. Do you guys have like, I don't want to say outhouses, but those porta potties that like you go to concerts and they have those. So imagine that kind of a smell along with a mixture of blood in the air.
Yeah,
Grim.
we don't call them porta potties in England.
Wow. Okay.
We
What do you
call them portaloos.
Port Toulouse.
Not
What
to be
John's-
mistaken for Waterloo, which is a train station, not an ancient battle.
However, Waterloo and Portaloos do tend to smell rather similar.
Yeah, it's a combination of that kind of smelling. And make a willpower check.
Sure. Let me just check my willpower.
All of us, yeah.
No, just her, because she's the one that kind of walked out to the door, opened it, and I'm going to really mess with M.
Oh, I didn't change color. Oh, that was a fail.
Well, that's definitely a fail.
Yeah.
Do you want to re-roll that, or you want to keep it?
I feel like it's not worth using a reroll for that.
So you didn't re-roll it?
Nah, I'm not going to reroll it.
All right.
Not worth it.
You step out there, and you are not only are you assaulted by the smell and the visual, you are assaulted by the empathic screams of animals as they are kind of unalived at certain points. Do you want to react to that, or are you just gonna
I'm imagining she'll open the door, take in all that, and then just shut the door and turn around and say, "Never mind. That is not appropriate for visitors right now." Perhaps we should try again later in the day.
So are you? All right. So how do you want to respond to that, Gad and Butak?
You dragged us out here. What's going on?
Yes.
In there or in here?
What's going on in there? You dragged us out of the ship
Just
at
walk
this
past.
unholy hour.
I'll
of
just
the
walk
morning.
past her and open the door and have a look myself.
Fair enough. Go for it.
It is a flat out. It's a butcher house, right? It's a butcher house. It's to you. It's like, oh,
There's meat hung from the ceilings and it's being sent on a line and people are doing cuts and slices and
that's
processing meat. Yeah.
basically all it is. And as a troll, the only thing that you wish is that you wish you could have a side of one of those beefs, bloody and raw.
How good a stealth check would it be to steal one?
Roll your stealth and let me know how many successes you gain. I'll let you know.
I'm just trying to gauge the difficulty.
So I mean, there are cows kind of hanging, by a couple hooves, and it's not
That's
like one
a
or
problem.
it's not
That's
going
something
to. It's not going to be a
points instead.
super.
It's gonna forget.
As a butcher, you know what you're looking at, right? I mean, you've got you've got them at different stages. Skins being removed, internals being removed, and they're just kind of moving down the line. And then you got a whole row of sheep and whole row of pigs and things like that. It wouldn't be. You think you could get away with it? You, depending on what you're going for, you think you could probably get away with it.
I'll just look back. Does anybody want to take away?
Yes.
Okay. That's all the emphasis I needed. The captain said yes.
All right.
I will attempt not to completely bugger this up.
At 5. So I think, if I remember correctly, you have a very relatively
Meat's
low.
back on the menu, boys.
You have a relatively low stealth score.
I have a stealth score of 54.
Yeah, so you've got 5 successes. This is a critical. Go ahead and you gain. You have the ability to explode twice if it does so.
No, just an extra.
So
5.
10 successes. I don't know if anybody's watching this. Describe how you sneak in and steal what you're going to steal,
Gad's watching.
and how you get out.
Open it slightly ajar. Uses his foot and his elbow to hold the door in place so it's not going to make a lot of noise. And then using the glaive, I'm going to reach in with the glaive, unhook a slice of beef, turn the glaive so it starts to cut, and it's going to slide down the glaive to me, at which point then it gets... and I'm out.
So are you taking a slice or a whole half?
A whole side of beef.
Okay. While you're able to do that, and you start to do that, I need you to make a strength check, because a side of beef is still, several hundred pounds.
Oh, really? Me a strength? Okay, me a strength check. Okay.
Make a strength check.
0-4.
Even with the fact that you're out there, you're using it kind of in one hand with your glaive and out there. You kind of reach up there and you unhook it, and it kind of slides
Extra
down.
5 successes on
It's
that.
like it counterbalances your weight and its weight, and it just kind of counterbalances, and it just kind of slides into the door. You actually picked one that didn't have a
105, 115,
Oh my god.
125. So that's 12 successes on the base roll plus 5 from the extra.
17. Yeah, you easily slide this off, and you literally catch this side of beef, which is almost as tall as you are, and just boom. What do you want to do with it?
Take it back to the ship.
You guys, you see this happening. Ravandra, you're kind of like looking around, and suddenly you see, I would assume, Butak kind of just turn and moving very quickly through the door, through the slaughterhouse
But
towards the other
legs,
door.
I can stride with purpose.
And he's very much striding with purpose. Now he normally walks like fast, but this time he's like a little extra, and you see him carrying this side of beef as he leaves it. And it's not it's a high quality side of beef, almost like a Wagyu kind of side of beef.
Sure, we're going to have breakfast.
He didn't come with that, did he?
No, he did.
All right, so convince check, Gad, and Ravandra, skepticism check.
Let's see. Convince. That'll be an untrained 30 plus my attribute, so I'm rolling against 40.
That's very funny. Where am I? There. Entire pile, please. No. Beep. There we go. Roll.
Oh, that's a massive fail. It's funnier this way.
Oh no, you're fine.
So, all right, so you look at her cold face, and you go, he came with it, and you turn, and she looks at you and goes, what? M, what do you do? I mean, you literally, he lied to you. It's a flat out lie.
Yeah, but I
right?
don't know that.
But you don't know that.
99.
But then you completely messed up your skepticism roll. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Ravandra just gonna go. Oh, I must have just forgotten. And then she'll happily follow on after Butak. I hope
Do
you
you
feel
like
good
meat?
about yourself, Nat.
I do. Do you like meat, Ravandra?
No, I'm a Solartarian.
Would you like to try some meat?
Solitarian. I like. Can I use that? Can we use
Absolutely.
that? Solitarian.
Go for it.
Solitarian.
Would compost be something you might rest in as part nourishment?
Are you asking if she just sits in a pile of shit every morning?
That's basically what
No,
he's asking.
I'm basically 30 crafting on the fact that you're a tree and you're a living, moving tree. So I'm just wondering,
True. I mean, do trees benefit from compost, or is that
Do you
just
sleep-
any growing plant,
It's like
because
mulch,
they do
isn't
no-
it?
they draw nutrients from the ground as well as osmosis.
Then yeah, I guess she.
And
she would
osmosis
benefit
does
from
not mean
compost,
it
yeah.
biting the head off a bat.
Then yeah, she probably does benefit off of compost and mulch and stuff.
So you do
yeah.
standing on shit.
Mr.
She just
President.
she takes all the
Got him.
scraps. She takes all the scraps from you guys' dinner and she turns that into compost that she then sits in the morning.
So literally, so then what you're saying then is you've got a part of the ship in which you actually dump the scraps in, so it kind of composts and kind of breaks down. That you've been doing this for a while, and then you just take some. You kind of go out there and you dig your feet into the dirt, ruffle it up, and you're just kind of like, okay.
That's
Yeah,
part
just
of
chill
the-
there.
That's part of the ship's waste management system.
I am head of waste management.
You are waste management.
I am waste management.
Alrighty then. Well, I'm glad we got that settled. Now we know that you do that and you're a solitarian. So very cool. All right, there we go. So that means you
But to
are.
answer,
Go ahead.
I was just going to answer Gad's question. She'd probably say, "I'm not sure I can even digest meat."
Would you like to find out?
I suppose.
I mean,
suppose it
in
can't
your
hurt to
entire,
try.
I mean, you're an older Kujasu.
Yeah.
At some point in your long life, do you feel like you would have at least tried it once?
I think the question is if someone would have ever offered it to her. Because if someone
I'm
offered
sure
it
at
to her,
some
she would
point. I
try
mean,
it.
you're alive for what? You've been over what? You're almost 200 years old.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so-
think I'm about 170.
We've been traveling together for long enough now that Gad has definitely fed Ravandra things before.
Oh, then, yeah, no, my age. Wait, hang on. How old did you think I was, Levi?
Around 200.
I put, for some reason, my character, she says my age is 400. I'm
Okay,
old.
so you're really old. All right.
I'm old.
Yeah, so at some point, I think even with Gad and you guys, at some point you actually have tried various things. The things that
Really?
you're really probably attracted to food-wise would be things like a lot of fungus, like mushrooms and those kind of things. Seems like that would be something. I don't think you would necessarily be attracted to meat. You like the idea of it, but it's just not something you're actually capable of digesting.
I think I did like the idea of it until I walked into that slaughterhouse, and now I don't like
You're
it.
like, nope, no, I'm a solitarian and a compostarian, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll say that they refer to themselves as solitarian because that's their main source of nutrients, but then compost is like the side to their main.
It's their version
I'm
of junk
imagining
food.
Right.
No, it's like different courses. The main
I was
course is
about
the
to say-
sunlight, the dessert is the compost.
Their compost is like us going for the McDonald's. It's okay, but you wouldn't want to live on it.
Right.
You
that
get
makes
you
sense.
get the nutrients fast. You suck them up, but it's not.
It's
You
a
know,
bit
it's people's
shit, really.
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, McDonald's.
Yeah. That's fair. I could maybe want a McDonald's there.
Yeah, I know. I just was thinking that myself.
Oh, I can't stand the stuff.
Do you want to order McDonald's?
We shouldn't.
But we could. Later.
But we shouldn't. But we should. Maybe. We'll discuss it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're
Yeah.
closed.
We're in a city, thank you. We have McDonald's till midnight.
Oh. Fantastic.
Anyway, not the point of this stream. Is to discuss McDonald's
We're
opening
not
hours.
advertising for Mac.
No. Although, if McDonald's sees this,
I will accept a sponsorship
yeah,
from
backers,
McDonald's.
If you want to
Yeah,
hire us.
yeah, I'll definitely do that.
yeah, we can start calling our streams McCrayless.
McCrayless, there you go.
There you go.
There we go. All right, so you guys make it back to the ship with this side of beef, and I think honestly, this is not the most unusual thing you've ever stolen. In your time together over the last 10 ranks, this is not the most unusual thing you've stolen, but it's definitely something that would, that's going to benefit you. Now the question becomes: do you want to keep it, or are you going to like try to sell it? Because I mean, sides of beef are pretty expensive and can make you some good coin on the side. Or store it in your storages and eat it.
I would like to remind you, Gad has a herbalism score of 93. I'll cook it for you.
Ooh.
Gad is a very good cook.
Gad,
I will literally give
That
Gad
is a
the
very
side
good
of
cook.
beef to put in storage.
excellent news. Right. Do we have?
How big's your character again?
It's pretty.
Pardon?
We're all pretty big people. Gad's a big guy, right?
Gad's
Gad's-
a large creature, isn't he?
Yeah.
Gad's I think a large creature, mostly by virtue of the shell.
Mostly by the shell, so he's not weak, I don't think.
Yeah, Gad's.
Right. I just want to make sure I just didn't give it to and then just boom.
I mean, Gad's not massively strong. Gad's a brain guy, but
That's strong
Yeah.
in a different way.
Strong enough.
What is the maximum I can go to on my strength?
The maximum you can go would be double the base of your strength. So being a large creature, it starts off with a base of 60, and if you added 10 to your strength, right, as a as a troll species, you could go to a maximum of 140.
Right then. I'm almost there.
Nice.
He's a
You're
big
about to be
dude.
as strong as you can be.
He's a big dude.
Yes. And I am built to scale.
So you guys get it back. Gad, are you going to do anything with it, or are you just going to like put it in storage and then hack off things that you need? Or, I mean, you guys do have like a cold storage on the ship that you can use, but it does drain on your power systems a little bit, you know, because it's just has to stay cold. You're used to knowing how to work with the cold because the thaumic batteries themselves have to be kept at a certain temperature as well. Because of the Dokal crystals, which can overheat.
Yeah, I think I'll store it for the moment. Maybe for dinner, once we've accepted the...
I will go clean my glaive. And then I will wait for whatever next occurs.
I think we'll be waiting until later.
It appears that may be the smartest idea.
All right, is there anything else you guys want to do for the rest of the day?
Actually,
Can't think of anything.
can I use focused mind to prepare my convince, just in case, you know?
You absolutely can, but you can't. So, like, if you were to do it now, whatever your stamina modifier is, you can only maintain that focus for that length of time of stamina modifier. So, if you have, let's say, you have 10, you can only keep it active for 5 hours before it just. You either you have to use it within a time limit, otherwise it just dissipates, and then you have to start all over again.
In that case, she'll start using it kind of early evening-ish,
Okay.
with the plan of heading back out, like maybe
So
within
how many hours are you going to spend in your concentration?
it's plus 10 for every hour. She'll spend 2 hours.
So you can get a plus 20 cumulative.
Yeah, it's just in case anything goes wrong.
All right.
You know, just to convince people to not be dicks. So yeah, so I'll get a plus 20 cumulative to my convince.
All right. It starts to get late in the afternoon and evening. Gad, I'm assuming you've kind of carved up the side of beef into various small usable things for you and Butak. Ravandra has been outside the ship, just kind of like hanging out in the sun for the most part, doing her tree thing. And
Dancing like Groot.
And the evening it starts to get a little closer to the evening. You guys I assume you guys are going to head back over there towards evening. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Leave Nile in the Thunderbox again.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
I'm surprised he's not inside out by now.
You guys make your way back to the slaughterhouse, and as you get there, you guys can see the outside of the slaughterhouse. There's numerous horses and people arriving on horses and kind of like getting off and going in. There's a couple of levitation bikes there and things like that, and you guys make your way into the slaughterhouse, and it's pretty packed. It's more packed tonight than it was last night. It seems like there's somebody at every single table, multiple people at every single table. They're laughing and having a good time, obviously. And as soon as you open the doors and walk in, who goes in first?
Well, I was going to say I'm going to stop and have a bit of a look at these levitation bikes before.
Okay, sure, absolutely.
It's literally, as we're walking along, it's like, ooh.
Right. So it would be akin to you like getting to the local pub and seeing some Harley Davidsons decked out, sitting in front of your local pub.
Harleys. Triumphs, thank you.
They are smaller than what you feel like you would actually be able to sit on. The seats are built for a little bit thinner of bodies and shorter of people. While he's looking at that, which one of you two go in first, Gad or Ravandra?
Not first. I mean, unless Gaz specifically said otherwise, Ravandra will probably go in first.
You can go apeshit. Gad's in no rush to answer if Butak's not there.
Fair enough. I'll head in first.
When you open the door and you walk in, the conversation hits you and the heat and the smells hit you like dead in the face. But the moment you open the doors and those things waft over you, the conversation comes to almost a dead stop. You're not unused to it, but this is almost like you walked in and everybody just turned and looked at you like, and they all kind of like look at each other and they're like, they keep doing this, looking back and forth, and you can hear whispers of is that a Kujasu? I've never seen one before. The whispering. So when that happens, what do you do?
I think she'll take in a deep breath and just kind of announce to the house, "I'm not actually your entertainment for the evening." And then she'll head over to get a bag of blood and try to ignore the fact that everyone's still staring.
Yeah, it's still staring. Even the band stopped playing when you walked in. They're like, and out of Prince, right? It's if you've ever seen American Werewolf in London when they first make their way into the tavern, that's exactly what happens.
It's called
Yeah.
Slaughtered Lamb.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's
a
right.
good
It
film.
was Slaughtered Lamb. That is absolutely correct.
It's one of my favorites.
It is one of my
She'll
favorites
make a
just for
point.
horror.
She'll make a point of like saying as she goes to the bar, she'll kind of like, "Please keep playing, keep to the band."
They kind of look at you and they kind of like, yeah, okay. And they get back into the rhythm. They start doing up this fair and stuff like that. Gad, the moment she walks in and everybody stops, no one pays attention to you at all. You kind of like walk past her and look up, and no one's looking at you at all. They're just staring at her like, oh my gosh.
Interesting.
It's somewhat of a party trick.
Yeah, I can see that.
So what do you want to do, Gad?
It's
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Ravandra makes her way up to the bar and gets a bag of blood.
I was just gonna ask if either of us can see Saul. Saul
is there. Saul is there. He's at one of the card tables.
Cool. Ravandra will make a point then of kind of like nodding her head in Saul's direction, saying, "That is the man who needs us to taxi."
Right. We maybe don't want to bring more attention to him if he needs us to be his ride.
She'll make a point of ordering 2 bags of blood, and she'll hand one to Gad and say, "Job for you then."
Aye.
Be careful. I'm pretty sure they cheat at cards.
Oh, I have no intention of playing. Gad'll go over to Saul.
You walk over to Saul, and they're in the middle of a game and stuff like that, and he doesn't really pay attention to you when you first get there. And you know that you watch the card game go, and and a couple of them slap their cards down, and Saul laughs, and he kind of turns his head, and as he does, he just whoa, looks at you and kind of steps back, and he puts his cards down and says, "Can I help you?" Not impolitely, but more of a shock that you're so big and you somehow made it right up next to him, and nobody around the table reacted to him, right?
Yeah. I believe you requested a ride.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Good game, guys. And he kind of folds out, and they're like, "Saul, you got to let us win your money back." He's like, "You will eventually." Kind of piles it over and kind of, puts it into a leather satchel, and kind of stands up and says, now when he turns, he's like, sees Ravandra. He was one of the ones that kind of stared at Ravandra, still looking at the fact that there's a living tree walking through the slaughterhouse, which is kind of ironic. And kind of makes turns and says, "Oh, you must be with her. Okay, fantastic." He looks over there.
Yeah,
you see Frank and a couple of other ones kind of like hanging out there. Simon, what are you doing now?
Falling asleep, I think. I'll finish looking at the bikes and then I'll head into the bar.
All right, you head into the bar. It's packed. It's busy. You're not the only troll here tonight. There's a couple of Bahuls. There's one other troll that's sitting. You can kind of make out because his head and shoulders above him. His horns aren't as curved as yours are, which is a meaning of maturity and experience. Is a more like half turned. Yours is like a full circle at this point within your life. And he kind of looks at you and he gives you a slight nod of respect for you being an elder, and then kind of gets back into his game and stuff like that. A couple of the Bahuls over there, they're kind of they're playing this weird kind of game with these pieces on the table, and it's like a multi-tiered kind of thing. And they're playing that. You see Gad kind of make his way over to Saul. You see Saul, and Saul is kind of like taken aback that Gad's there, and they kind of get up and they start making their way towards the bar. What do you want to
do? I'm going to go over and I'm going to watch the troll play a little bit.
So you go over there. It's a card game that you're relatively familiar with, that they've played for a long time, and he seems to be doing all right. He loses a couple hands and he wins a couple of hands and things like that. Are you going to hang out there while they go in and discuss, or do you want to go in with them?
Yeah, if trouble kicks off, it's better having me somewhere that's not in the immediate area with them.
All right, very good. Gad and Ravandra, he makes it. He goes towards the bar and he kind of says, "Frank, can we use your office again?" And Frank's like, yeah. And they go in there and they open it. And again, it's just as messy as the last time you saw it. This morning, it's just as messy, except now there seems to be more piles of paperwork in there, stuff like that. They close the door and he goes, "Oh, thank you so much. I don't know if they've introduced you again. My name is Saul Potter. It's so very nice to meet you." He's a little older of a guy. Definitely, he's 100% human. And he looks at you and goes, "So, I need a ride."
Why?
Why? Wow, that's very forward. I need to get to a small planetoid moon out near Newfound called Belafon.
Okay.
And it's just
Personal business.
it's personal business. I guess that'd be better for both of us if you didn't ask really in-depth questions. It's not that I'm running from anybody. I'm just trying to keep a low profile, if you understand what I'm saying. And you're the only void ship to actually make landfall or planetfall for the last 6 months. So I really appreciate if we could probably make our way out there. Now, from what I understand from your tree folk friend, that your ship is damaged? Is that correct? Or she was very unsure how to describe what's going on with your ship. Is it damaged or?
One of the crystals in my thermic batteries is damaged.
Hmm. Well, we definitely need to get the thermic battery or the Dokal crystals changed out before you go, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's a problem, right? It could explode, right?
It could explode, yeah.
It explode?
Yes. We've had this discussion. We haven't had this discussion.
Okay, so you're lying to her again.
Oh no, Gad is like 100% convinced that he is told.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and she's 100% convinced he has not.
It's
But
like they're a married couple.
We do need the thermic batteries to be charged as well.
You said that was something you could help with, right?
Yes, I know someone in Cold Iron, and they do have a surplus of devices that could potentially help you. It's kind of it's inside Cold Iron. It's a very large area. I wouldn't call it a scrap area, but it's definitely there's been numerous times where ships have found themselves on planet side and crashed or deserted, and this guy has taken them in and has kind of collected this stuff for a while. But yeah, he could definitely probably help us with that with one of the atomic battery chargers.
Is he a technician of sorts?
You
'Cause
could
if
say
I
that.
scratch his back, I'm sure he'll scratch mine.
Probably. But that would be something we'd have to definitely go get together, either as all of us together, or you guys could go negotiate with him. I'm willing to pay you 500 silver pieces to get me all the way to Belfon. For all four of us. There's going to be four of us, by the way.
There are 4 of you.
Correct.
And it would be 500 silver pieces on top of helping us getting the ship going.
Well, yes. I would pay you 500 silver pieces to get me to Belafon, and then I can put in a good word with this guy to hopefully give you a good deal on getting those out there, because he's got to make his own silver as well.
What do you think? She'll say to Gad.
I would still like to know why we are running quarry planet side. But that is a discussion for another time. Perhaps over a cut of dinner after we have started our journey.
Right. I guess we could do that. Absolutely. But what I need you to do is we need to get you your battery charger so we can get that set up, because it's going to take some time from what I understand. They've always taken some time to get that taken care of. They can probably bring those out. He is a tinkerer and inventor of Argada, and you know that term as technology and technical items and things like that. Oh, thank you for the follow, DJ's Whipple. Appreciate that. So you would have to get out to him. Probably be available to do that in the morning. But for tonight, like I said, I can pay you 500 silver pieces to get me out there. If you're okay with that, that'd be great. But we can definitely go in the morning and see this guy about getting your battery charger set up.
Okay.
And Ravandra's happy with that.
So let's do this. I know it's been short. I think we're going to need to take some short time now and things like that. Do you want to take a bio break, or do you want to take some time and say this is a good place to stop for the night for you guys? Because I know it's late for you guys. It's 10 p.m. your time?
Yeah.
So it's up to you guys. Whatever you want to do, we can continue. Definitely probably take a bio break.
Yeah.
Get some
I'm
tea
gonna
and some
have
other things
a
like
cup of
that.
tea.
And then we'll be back in a few minutes if you guys want to continue.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll be
Sounds
right
like a
back.
plan.
Thank you for the follow, sir, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back from our bio breaks. Everybody's gotten tea and chocolate. I've gotten my nice hot coffee that's called Death Wish Coffee. If you're looking for a sponsor, Death Wish, I'll be glad to sponsor you because I drink
Cheers.
them all the time. And things like that. So when we last left, you guys were going to be meeting with Saul the next morning, or you guys are going to have evening dinner tonight. You wanted to have dinner with him, is that correct? Gad, to figure out more where he
Gonna
wants to
cook
go.
for him.
Oh, you're gonna invite him to the ship and cook for him?
Mm-hmm. That's
Mm.
the
Yeah.
plan.
Are you
good
are you
shit.
gonna cook the beef that we stole this morning?
We
Did
didn't
we steal
steal
it
it.
from him?
We didn't steal it. We recycled it.
We recycle it.
Maybe.
All right. He kind of looks at you and goes, well, all right, I'll take you up on that. Say an hour?
Yeah. Or will be more than enough time.
All right. Well, now you're east of Whitehall Farm, right?
Aye. Then we are.
All right. I'll be out there in an hour then. Kind of gets up and goes, I'm gonna go steal some more money. Kind of laughs at it. And kind of walks out
Enjoy.
there into the thing and kind of says, all right, gentlemen, who wants to win their money back? And they're like, oh, Saul, get your ass over here.
Ravandra looks to Gad and just says so proudly, I knew he was cheating.
Of course he was. I'm pretty sure they all are, to some varying degrees of success.
Yes, well, a lot of them definitely don't cheat well.
No, I'm not a gambling man, so I was not going to try and play him in his own game.
There is an old song from my people about gambling. It goes something along the lines of, you've got to know when to hold them. You've got to know when to show them. And you've got to know when to walk away. It's an old song. I don't remember it fully.
Horrendous.
Your people have a vast and cultured history, friend. You must tell me more.
I believe the
don't.
singer of that song was Kentaka Rogers.
But it could well be. He may have been a member of my missing clan.
I
Which I do
will,
intend to find.
humor Butak to the ends of the fucking earth and back.
Bless. Right, I guess we gotta get back to the ship and prepare to host dinner.
Mm-hmm. I
So
suppose.
what we're having with the beef.
What are we having with the beef? What do we have on the ship?
I'm sure.
Are there
we've got
are
some.
there any additional farms nearby?
Oh, there's plenty of farms and stuff around you. Are you gonna go
Are
steal
there
your
any
dinner?
untended
I'll just have a
farms?
walk through the field and pick me out.
Grab
All
some
right.
potatoes.
What are you looking?
Carrots.
So you're just looking some potatoes and corn and some greens, or what?
Yeah, some carrots, potatoes.
And you Butek
Onion.
leaves for about an hour and a half or so, and then I can't believe, comes back and he's carrying this large bundle.
Do you
of,
want me to make a survival roll to see what I can find?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do that. That sounds like fun.
Okay.
The more successes, the more different types that you find. Otherwise, it's just going to be one.
That's fine. Gad can make it interesting.
I'm
will
going to
spend
spend
heroic
I'm going to
levels.
spend a reroll for that.
He finds a big old toadstool on the
yeah.
first roll.
Hell yeah. We're getting high tonight, boys.
Oh, yeah. Right, I just find that then.
He comes back with some really poor-looking carrots. Looks like an underaged corn stalk, and he's got these large brownish-like mushroom fungus that he found on an old log as he was headed back. And he's like, "Oh, okay, I got this stuff." Gad, give me an herbalism check.
I was hoping you would say that. Right. Oh yeah. That's still 3 successes. I'm gonna re-roll it.
Okay.
I was hoping I might have a better roll than that. There we go. There we go. 5 successes. That's better.
You can probably do something with the underaged or underdeveloped corn. The carrots, yeah, 3 or 4 of them look pretty good, but those mushrooms, you're not even sure where he found those, and they shouldn't even be on this planet. They are a very rare type of mushroom. We will put them in the category of like shiitake mushrooms.
So those mushrooms are gonna go in Ged's.
But the problem with these mushrooms is if
Ah.
not cut correctly and cooked properly, will cause severe poisoning in anybody who eats them, akin to the blowfish gland being cut and into the food. It potentially could kill you.
God, they're both.
That's a point, actually. Depending on how certain foods poison people, could Kajasu therefore be immune to certain kinds of food poisoning due to not ingesting it the same way?
Do tree folk have a circulatory system?
Well, they do have a circulatory system, but not like normal beings, right? I mean, I would say that you are, and maybe I need to add this to canon, that Kajashu are immune to poisons. Period.
Sick.
However, they are very susceptible to
Fire.
natural diseases, right? That might cause. Well, yeah, they're completely like fire like does like triple damage to
Fuck
them.
fire. Fuck fire.
Fuck fire. Fuck lightning too, right? But I think maybe we should also say in there that they are they take extra damage. Not extra damage, that they are more susceptible to certain diseases that don't necessarily affect non-wood folk, but in wood folk, like they literally, there's times where it's just
Like Dutch elm disease.
right, or even at in some cases, burrowing wood gnats and woodworms.
I was just thinking that wood rot, not fun.
Yeah, and wood rot is would be like, yeah, wood rot is something you completely avoid. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll go into the Kajasu later today and I will update canon on that for that they're completely immune to poisons, but they are also very highly susceptible to diseases, and I'll list out those diseases just for role-playing purposes.
Does that therefore, sorry, just because I'm thinking about how we've been role-playing things previously, does that mean she wouldn't be affected by things like alcohol? If she's immune to poisons?
The question becomes: is alcohol really poisonous? Can you can
Yes.
die, or you can die of over drinking of alcohol?
You could die of over drinking water.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. But water's not poisonous, right? So, and there's alcohol poisoning, right? But is it actually poisonous?
It's
This is what
used
Google's
in
for.
most games, most other game systems I've played, other than D&D. Alcohol is treated as a poison.
I think by the technical definition of a poison, it does fall under a poison. The problem is every time when I Google is alcohol poison, it just tells me about alcohol poisoning. Yeah, a substance that is capable of causing the illness or death of a living organism when introduced or absorbed. So I think alcohol does fall under that. The hangover is just being sick.
Typically, hangover is also severe. He had
Severe dehydration.
dehydration.
Yeah.
Which is why, if I've been out drinking before I go to bed, I usually have a pint of water.
I usually have instant ramen.
Interesting cocktail.
Well, you get all the carbs from the noodles, and then you get hydrated from the broth, and it's
Ah,
tasty.
yes. Well,
I've got a
I
weird
would say I,
question
I,
for
would-
you.
I would say I would
I
say
think
that
we broke Levi.
I would say alcohol is not directly a poison in the sense of it being like
Recreational.
well, like being like poison ivy. Well, even then, poison ivy isn't really a poison. It's just an irritant to the skin. Like, and it wouldn't be considered a venom. I would think it more along is for gaming terms, right? Not like what happens in the real world. I would see it more of it just being something that it's a toxin or toxic, but it's not a poison. As in, like if you were to go into a bar right now and have a glass of wine, you're not going to just pass out.
Okay.
However, if you were to go in and drink a same volume of Komodo dragon spit, which is full of all kinds of bacteria, you're going to be dead within an hour. Right? I'm not going to get into I'm not going to fight the idea of, is it alcohol poisoning? Is it not? I think it's an over intoxication that your body and your liver can't handle, which only happens in large amounts, where poisons can kill you with minor amounts, right? And things like that, whether it's venom or poisons from certain insects. So I would say you can still be affected by alcohol. It may take longer because your body, as a tree, it doesn't process in the same way as everybody else. Kind of like that whole thing of in Lord of the Rings when Legolas and Gimli are going through the drinking contest. He's like, "Oh, I think I finally feel something," and he's like gone through twice as much, right? That's what I put more as a can. I think alcohol poisoning is more of an alcohol overdose, right? I mean, it's like, that's just my personal gaming thought, not real world thought. So I want to make that very clear.
Okay, yeah, you'll get your will.
Well, not just my world, just a gaming world, just in gaming, right? I mean, can you die from over drinking? Yes, but you can do that with water. You can do that with milk. You can do that with anything that your body can't process very well. Is it toxic? Yes, but so if I have too much caffeine in a day, my heart could race and I could die of a heart attack. So is it poisonous? No, it's just a toxation of the body. So for gaming,
It's more socially acceptable.
I'm sorry?
It's a socially acceptable poison. It's called.
Right. I mean, yeah, exactly. So, but I would say for gaming purposes, I wouldn't consider, and even in the rules for Legends of Kralis that I've written, it's more of a intoxication than it is an actual poisoning. And I don't even think I have rules that say that you can die of it. I think you just pass out at some point instead of actually being, because I just want to get into the whole concept of having to deal with people having, unfortunately, substance abuse problems in the real world. And I don't want to, what's the word? I don't want to make their journeys less.
You don't want to trivialize somebody's real world trauma.
Yeah.
For the sake of a mechanic that somebody might just think is funny.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say it's poisoning. I'm just saying that you're immune to poisons. And for us, for this particular situation, now other GMs could rule differently, but I would just say it just slows it. You still have the effects. It just takes you a lot longer to feel those effects because trees don't have blood. They have sap. But you would have blood in a sense. I don't know. We're getting into a really weird offshoot of what a species tree would look like, right? And how does it function biologically?
You would have sap. It would probably have the same consistency of sap as opposed to blood, if I had to guess. But I assume it's kind of got a similar viscosity to sap to blood. Sorry, because if it acted like blood, but it traveled at the speed at which sap moves, you would be fucked.
Right.
You know what you can make from tree sap?
Maple syrup.
Turpentine.
And maple syrup.
Two very different answers.
Yes.
So
different breeds of tree.
On
Scots pine tree.
Right. So on the world of that, you are immune to poisons, but you are still can be affected by intoxication of alcohols.
So linking that back, what I'm hearing is Ravandra could have a fun time with that mushroom.
Possibly, yeah.
I have a weird question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just the one.
Just the one. So I have the spell Alter Size.
I see where you're going with this.
Can I make these scarce offerings that have been brought to me? Can I make them stretch across like a pretty impressive meal by altering the size of them?
With a spell?
Hmm.
Sure, why not?
If I make the raw ingredients bigger, it gives me more to cook with, right?
Sure, why not? That makes sense. Go ahead and cast it.
Would that give me any bonuses to my herbalism check if
No, I
if
wouldn't.
I succeed on this?
No, I would not say it increases your herbalism check. It just produces
Yeah.
a larger amount, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
just because I have a lot more flour in my house doesn't make me that much better of a baker, right? It just gives me more opportunities to fuck it up.
Sure.
Hey, Stoic.
In that case, I'm gonna I'm gonna cast alter size on most of the ingredients, not the beef. I'm just gonna kind of cut like steaks off of the side of beef. I don't want to butcher it, but I also don't want to kind of just eat through it. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How many times will I need to cast alter size?
I'd say well, how big are you going to be going with that? I think that also depends on the total number of successes you get, isn't it? I don't have the book in front of me, so I'm relying on you.
Yeah, objects may be enlarged or reduced by 10% per success. They may only grow 5 times their original size or shrink to 3 times. Yeah. It's dependent on successes, but I can choose. Oh, it's 10. Duration 10 minutes. So if I were to cook with something and then dice it up really fine, or other kind of dice it into bits, and then alter size shrinks down, will it then be finely diced?
Probably.
I have just revolutionized cooking in your system.
Make it big, chop it, let the spell, and it's really finely chopped. That's how we get finely chopped garlic
Yeah,
in
that
this
it's
world.
immaculate.
Immaculate. It's just
Oh.
yeah.
The new
All right.
Iron Chef.
Power rank 4, so that would be 16 fatigue, 12 fatigue.
Right.
I'll start with the carrots. Would you like me to make a herbalism check for each of these, or just like an overall check?
Just an overall check.
I'm gonna. You know what? That's 5.
All right, right
Just
on.
shy. It's just shy of 6 successes. That's really annoying.
Oh, close.
Well, my herbalism's 93, and I rolled a 39.
Yeah, it's still 6 successes. More
It's
or
not
less.
bad.
Still not too bad. So yeah, you get them to be fairly large, 10%. So they go up, 60% larger than they normally would be. And you chop them, and just as the spell ends, and now you've got this small pile of really fine diced foods in front of you.
I'm gonna have a go cooking the mushrooms. I'm gonna. Now that's 6 successes. That's a 33. My
That is
herbalism's
absolutely.
93. I wonder if 6 is enough for the mushrooms. Would I be able to tell if I've messed up the mushrooms?
Would you? Yeah, that would have to be an herbalism check
Yeah,
That is
that
spe-
was a herbalism check.
for the mushrooms, or just in general. Just for general,
Oh.
right?
That herbalism check was to try and cook the mushrooms.
How many successes did you get?
It was 6.
You think you've got it cut and cooked correctly. I mean, you've never really dealt with them, so you're kind of. Are you going to taste it?
Yes. You know, yes, I will. Actually, I would like to make another herbalism check to double check to see if I've messed them up.
All right.
If I'm reasonably confident after that one, I'll try them.
Understand that I've got a specific
That's a
number.
not 8.
Number of successes in my head, and you've definitely achieved that. You after taking some time and smelling and slightly tasting them, you're pretty confident that you've got them cooked to exactly where they need to be. And you quickly take them, off the heat, and drain them so they don't stew in their own stuff for very long. And you've got some really nice cooked brownish mushrooms. I haven't given them a name, probably won't.
That's okay. They're fun mushrooms. They're fun guys.
Oh dear. With jokes like that, you'll lose your morality.
Oh, jeez. Oh, dear. So, you spend the next hour or so, once you get back there, cooking and cleaning and all that stuff. Butak and Ravandra, what are you guys doing?
I will go around the outside of the ship doing figure eights with my pole arm.
Okay. So you're working out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are you doing, Ravandra?
Ravandra is going to go talk to Jack and make sure Jack is aware that there are about to be strangers in the ship.
How do you go about doing that?
I mean, I feel like whenever she wants Jack to talk to her, she just wanders around the ship, just kind of going, Jack, until eventually he makes himself known.
You kind of make it past the regular dining area, and you're like, Jack, where are you? And he kind of almost pops into existence next to you. He goes, hi, Ravandra. Hey, guess what? Guess what I can do now?
What can you do?
You ready for this?
I'm so ready.
He pops out of existence, and the ship starts to levitate. The engines fire. Butak, the ship around you, shakes for a second and levitates. Gad, you're in there going shik, 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 and suddenly the ship begins to move.
It's amazing, but I'm going to need you to stop.
Hey, don't have to go without me.
Gad, what are you doing?
Gad's probably like dicing some carrots or frying a steak, and he just stops and not angrily, but just kind of yell out, whoever's in the cockpit, step the fuck back. We're not clear to take off yet. I'll be having a stern word with whoever is doing this.
It continues to go. It levitates about 10 or 15 feet off the ground, and it's wobbly, but it's stable. But you yell that out. Hey, get out! Who's ever in the cockpit, stop! And you hear from where you're at, Ravandra having a conversation in the dining room. You know that Butak is outside, and you kind of hear Butak's voice echoing, "Hey, don't leave without me!" Kind of echoing into the ship itself. What do you do?
Yeah, she'll just say, that's amazing. That's so clever, but I am going to need you to stop.
Oh, but I can do so much more.
Yes, but I actually have some important news for you.
Oh. Can it wait?
No, it's kind of time urgent.
You get this sense of a child going, "Aw." And a few seconds later, the ship it's not a perfect landing, but it's like it settles down. It kind of shakes for a second. It goes, I can do some other things too.
Well, you can tell me all about them and show me them after we've had a quick chat.
About
Because
what?
we are going to have some guests on the ship.
More dogs?
No, not dogs, this
Oh.
time people. We're having some people here for dinner.
Kind of dinner.
You're
You're going to eat them?
No.
I mean, I know that
You're-
you can decompose people, but you're not gonna do that on the ship, are you?
How do you know I can do that?
I got secrets.
I
Hmm.
like that.
You're a sneaky kid.
Well, no, we are going to be serving them dinner. Because we need to be on good terms with them because we're going to be flying them to a different planet.
Oh, okay. Can I fly?
Get the money. You will need to talk to Gad about that. I am not the I'm not the
I
pilot.
don't think Gad's gonna let me fly.
Yeah, Katagad immediately saying no.
You
Well,
you
maybe-
hear this conversation kind of going off because it's not like you're too far away from the galley. The little tiny galley that you have is not too far away from the main area where you guys eat, and you hear Jack's voice saying, "I can fly the ship." And then you hear Revenge going, "No, we're not going to eat them."
I'll ask them about it later.
Okay.
Fair enough.
We will have a discussion about it as
Jack's like,
a group.
okay, and Jack's like,
Family.
I can also close the back of the ship too. I can do all kinds of. You guys have been gone for a while, and I got to play.
Nice.
But you still
What
need
other
to
cool
fix.
things
You
can you
still
do?
need to fix that black crystal. It's cracked.
We're on it. That's the people that we're having over for dinner are going to be helping us with that. So that will get sorted.
Oh,
So what
okay.
I'm saying is you need to be extra good and well
Can I?
behaved while they're here.
Oh, so I don't get to scare him?
No.
Because I've been working on that too. And he kind of like goes, watch. And he kind of like turns his head and comes back. And he comes back and he's like, he transforms from that serene little boy into that almost horrific ghost that's at the beginning of Ghostbusters, right? Skin flashback and then horrific. Look what I can do. And he's like, it's the fact that you know it's Jack. You're not taken aback and feared by it, but you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he kind of comes back and he shakes his head. He goes, oh, I can do more too. I'm learning how to do
That's-
these things.
That's very impressive, but I don't think you should do that with our guests. I will introduce you to them though. I'll let them know that you're here because we'll all be on the ship together.
They probably won't like me. Like Gad.
Likes you?
He doesn't like me.
Oh, trust
do,
me, you
though.
would know if Gad didn't like you.
I don't know. He's kind of grumpy all the time.
That's just Gad.
He's grumpy all
Gad
the
is
time.
not one for smiling.
And Bootak. Not sure about Bootak. Can we trust him?
I don't think Bootak is sure about Bootak.
Never heard of True Thing.
Oh,
We can
okay.
trust Bootak, I'm sure. We just have to keep him in line so he doesn't break anything.
Okay. All right. Well. Okay. Well, I'll kind of like kicks the floor with his ghostly feet and kind of like turns and starts walking down the hallway and he just kind of fades and out of existence.
Wait, but as he's leaving, she'll be like,
Before they arrive, you should really show Bootak your cool scaring trick.
You think you'll like it?
I think you'll love it.
And he kind of turns and instead of, he was kind of like moping like he was going to fade into distance. He turns and he literally see him kind of run off as he disappears into it. Bootak, you're out there swinging around and the area.
No, I'm not. I'm sweating, trying to get back onto the ship.
Well, it's landed. It's come back down and landed. Are you still outside getting on or what are you doing?
I'll be making my way back in.
As you're making your way towards the back of the ship, it kind of, even though it kind of levitated, it kind of rotated a little bit. So the entrance where it isn't where you normally are. As you're making your way back, you find that the air around you is getting really cold. The sweat that you had garnered through your swinging of your pole arm begins to feel very chilly to the touch. Make an alertness check.
Oh, great. Alertness. 54. That's not too bad.
That's not too
My
bad.
skill is 68.
Your skill is 68.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of looking around. A mist begins to kind of grow up around from the ground from you and stuff like that. And as you're looking around, you suddenly come face to face with this horrific looking ghost as it just pops into existence at you.
I'll deck it.
And what it does that in a very softish, childlike voice goes boo.
Yes, boo, tack. Whack!
And you go to whack. All right, go swing at it.
Okay.
Ot 5. You swing this weapon with such speed and with such accuracy, had it been a normal person, you would have sliced them right in half. However, as you go through that, you split the mists of this, and then suddenly Jack's like, "Hey, wait, what are you doing?" And he kind of like comes back into like his Jackie's form. And he goes, "What are you doing? You can't do that to me. You can't hit me. I'm gonna go tell Ravandra. Besides, get a heroic luck for that. Anyways, that was a good roll.
10,
You're still counting successes.
15 successes in total.
Yeah, you would have had it been a normal
With
person.
the red steel glaive.
I don't think the red steel glaive gives you any
Red steel
glaive.
glaive.
The
Red Steel Dave.
the red steel glaive gives you any bonuses to what I think you're trying to do. Does it? I don't think it does.
I don't know. I know it's virtually unbreakable.
Right. It's got special properties. Let me take a look.
Oh God, if you hurt the child, I'm gonna feel so bad. I was just trying to teach him not to scare people.
Yeah, so red steel is very awesome, but it doesn't have any special properties against apparitions or the undead.
I think it is.
Thank God.
Silver
Thank
and
God.
and Thoacard do. But so does cold iron, but dragonhide, ironwood, and red steel do not. They just make them more powerful in their ability to deal and take damage. While you're doing that, you're kind of moving about the ship, Ravandra. Suddenly, Jack appears in front of you, and he's like showing, like that big kid, like moving. He tried to hit me with that big knife of his.
Did you scare him?
Well, he deserves it. Now I'm going to scare him more. And
Does it hurt if he hits you?
No, but he shouldn't try to hit me. He can't.
Well, he didn't know it was you, did he?
No. And he kind
So
of
I
like
think
he kind of just kind of turns his back, not like disrespectfully, goes no, and kind of starts walking away.
He sounds like he's pouting.
He's
Pretty much.
pouting.
He's pouting, pretty much.
I think maybe this is what happens when you scare people.
But they try to hit me with a big red sword.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just Butak because he's always grumpy.
You
Just-
could try it with Gad to see if it happens with everyone or just Butek.
Maybe later. I'll have to get it when he's least expecting it.
Yeah, good idea.
Oh
good
dear
idea.
God, I've got me on.
Not while the
cake.
guests are here.
Okay. Not while the guests
Thank
are here.
you.
About an hour later, Saul kind of shows up with two other individuals. They're riding their horses and stuff like that. And they wait outside of the bay door where the door's already down, and stuff like that. And they kind of like stomp on the platform that's there, kind of like doing a knock. It reverberates kind of through the backside of the ship a little bit.
Ravandra will probably rush to open the door.
So you open the door, and there is Sharp and a couple other handymen. And he goes, "So we're here for dinner."
Dinners you shall have. Please come on in.
You guys bring them up, and they kind of like, kind of looking around at the ship, and it was, oh, pretty nice ship.
Yes, I don't recommend messing with it. You may anger the ghost.
Ghost, your ship's haunted.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit of an oddity, don't you think?
I wouldn't talk about Jack that way.
You've named the ghost Jack.
The ghost already had a name. He's very fun. He's learned how to scare people.
And they all kind of look at each other, almost not believing you, like, all right. And Sharks just says, yeah, you got me going on that one. Oh. And he goes, he kind of, it makes it awkward, and he kind of just like doesn't know what to do. So he kind of sits around the table and goes, this is just a nice ship, though.
As they sit down, they will notice that all of the cutlery and like the plates are all kind of hand wrought. I don't think Gad has ever brought cutlery, more like anything really for the table. I would imagine, kind of given his profession, everything has been made instead.
Makes sense. Would you come out with dinner? How do you guys want to role play this on your side of the world? I mean, they're kind of sitting there, kind of like looking around. Do you bring out dinner at that point? Does Butak come up and sit down? I mean, how do you guys?
Yeah, where
do
is
it?
Butak?
Does the ship have an intercom? It does, doesn't it?
It's not big enough to have an intercom. I mean, it's you guys do
You
most.
just open a door and shout, really, don't you?
Basically, that's all you really do at this point. It's
Yeah,
not
right,
that big.
A shout for Butak.
Oh, come on. Yes, what do you need?
Dinner's ready.
Excellent.
I hear you've been hitting the ghost.
We're not telling him off for that. We're rewarding him for the fruits of his labor. Oh, sorry, with the fruits of his labor.
Okay, no problem. He surprised me. What am I supposed to do? If it was a bad guy and he attacked me like that, would you want me to go, oh, no, I'll just wait for him to hit me? No, you want me to hit them back first.
We will be discussing the ghost later.
It sounds like it could be a spirited conversation.
The hitting the ghost.
For God's sake.
Ugh. I imagine Ravandra will sit down with a plate and cutlery and all that, knowing she will not be eating any of it, but just wanting to be involved.
Oh yeah, Ravandra gets an empty plate.
Nice. She'll pretend to eat from it as well, just to really feel like she's part of the group.
I feel it's best that we collectively get to understand one another, and what better way than dinner? The crew are ready to introduce themselves so that you can understand who you're traveling with.
Are you saying this to Saul out in the main area?
Yeah, Gad has sort of stood in front of the table. Hasn't brought any food. Well, no, Gad's definitely brought food out.
Okay. He goes, well, we're looking forward to eating and getting going.
I think he's saying we'd like to get to know you first.
Well, you know me. I'm Saul.
Mm-hmm.
This is Joshua. And that's John.
Ravandra's looking at Gad to take the lead on this one.
I'm looking at Gad for him to take the lead on this one.
You have already met three of my associates. One is currently indisposed. Ravandra is our public relations officer. If you have any questions, any qualms about anything during your travels, take them to her, please. I don't want to hear them. You have also met our reliable gunnery, our hired muscle, Butak. He will regale you with
Hello.
stories of his rich and varied culture. And I am your host and chef and captain, I guess,
Ooh,
and pilot.
okay. They're all kind of looking at you, going, "All right." So, very nice to meet all of you. Joshua and John kind of shake their heads. Yes, nice to meet all of you.
Part of calling you here, inviting you here, other than letting you see the ship and understand what you'll be traveling on, is it would be really nice to know a bit more about what you guys do and why you're heading off in this direction. Can I
Yes,
roll a
that's
convince to try and convince them to tell us a bit about themselves?
Absolutely, go for it.
Thank you. And I've got my plus 20. Where is my convince? Hang on. Convince. Cool. Cool. Roll. Oh, I'm re-rolling that. Oh my god, this roller hates me.
They kind of look at you, kind of. How do you go about trying to convince them with this? You need to role play that 95.
I will say that even with a 95, because of my plus 20, that is 2 successes.
Damn. All right, so role play it. How do you get them to try to convince to open up to you?
So can I say, we are welcoming you into our home. We live on this ship. And we
As
are the
most
ones,
people do.
yes, and we are the ones taking you across. And bear in mind, when we get there, we'll have to be there too. We just want to be a bit more informed on who you are, so we can best suit our travels to you, and also understand what we're getting into on the other side. I'm sure, as fellow well-traveled people, I'm sure you can understand.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Goes, what do you want to know? Besides who I am. I'm Sharp, and this is John, and this is Joshua, and this is John. I mean, we're not getting married and hitched here.
No, but what business are you taking over to insert name of planet that I have forgotten?
Bellefonte. It's a moon outside of Newfound.
Sorry. What
worries.
business are you taking over to Bellefonte?
Well, this is 2 of them. We got another person who just couldn't make it tonight. We're looking to take back something that's been lost to us, to say the least.
Are people aware that you're taking it back?
No. At least we hope they don't, and we want to keep it that way. He gets serious, but he's still very polite about how he's speaking about it.
Are you also hoping for aid taking it back, or do we just need to get you there?
Well, to be honest, when we get there, I think we're going to need some help other than just flying us there. And from what I can tell, and he looks at you, Gad, you seem to know what you're doing around the ship, and more than just its cook.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with not just this ship, but most technology. I am the captain for a reason. Well, that reason's a democratic vote, but
Nobody else wanted the job.
yeah, everybody else got a cool hat. I got to be in charge.
I think if we're helping, then it's imperative we know what it is you're taking back,
Yeah.
no?
I had a feeling there would be a little something extra.
And with that, we're going to call it a night. We'll be back
Woo!
next Saturday night, hopefully. And we will continue this fine dinner that has been laid out for us. We will be back in, like I said, next week. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Get lots of sleep, eat well, drink plenty of water, take care of yourselves, and that will be it for us. Say goodnight, you guys.
Good night, you
Good
guys.
night, everybody.
Good
Stay
night.
legendary.